Alright, piss and vinegar day 110. So, accessories day, which is just, oh, not accessories day actually, no, this is my cardio day slash abs. So, I'm going to be doing a 2 a day today because I skipped training yesterday. So, you'll see after this video is uploaded, I'll also upload my arm wrestling. These days don't conflict very well, so, or they don't conflict at all really, so it's all good. I can do, a 2 a day in this case. But today, I'm starting to realize I like to sprint when it comes to high intensity cardio. It's very straightforward. It's great for your legs and bone density. Like when you sprint, it's very high impact. So one, it's you will get hypertrophy gains from it because it's high intensity. If you look at a triathlon versus a sprinter, there's a difference in their physique, and that's a testament to high intensity training being better volume. But digressing. But also you get increased HGH, although nominal, but also your bone density will increase because it's high impact. So Wolff's Law will apply. There is shock waves going through your tibia, fibula, femur, etc., and you'll increase bone density. And for some, they have often purported height increases. Even males past 25 who have well beyond their puberty, well beyond their basic growth plates closing, they find that they get taller, which for me, I don't really care too much about. Like, I'm 6 foot, which isn't tall, but it's all an average, so it is what it is. And if I got any taller, it'd look really fucking weird relative to the rest of my body. But if my legs could get taller, that'd actually be really cool. Now that I think about it, as far as being taller, I don't really give a fuck. Being 6 foot, is totally fine with me. However, aesthetically, I have very short legs. I'm only tall because I have a really long upper body. But longer legs is gives you far more aesthetics overall, especially as far as muscle insertions go, but like just the proportions. But I'm massively digressing, and this is very unlikely to happen, especially anything, any obvious height. I highly doubt I'm going to get like fucking 3 inches for sprinting. But anyway, maybe not. You can potentially increase your height. I can imagine if you're going through your teenage years, it could definitely help assist you get to your genetic capacity. But increase your bone density, increase your muscle density, and it's unlike other high-intensity cardio, which you'll see me follow up with this after this. It's fun in the sense that you get to learn something. So my technique fucking sucks. You can see my technique's absolutely shit, and right now I'm having fun with sprinting. But in the future, it's going to be one of these things where I can add technique to, where I can watch professionals demonstrating how to run better, and then I can make it like a timed thing where I increase my time, another thing to progressively overload. And I'm actually interested to see where my sprint's going to be. One, when I lose weight, and two, the more I do them. It's just the more you do a sport-specific exercise, the better you get at them, the better your central nervous system can align it. So I follow the sprinting up with some sort of meme exercises like battle ropes and ball slams and shit, because my legs were toasted after 25 rounds of sprints. My hip flexors were starting to get a little achy, so I thought, all right, I'll move into some upper body high intensity cardio. And this shit's inferior to sprinting by all means, but in order to keep getting my heart rate up, I decided I would follow it up with some, basic shit like this. And I mean, this is not useless in the sense that I had to do my upper body instead of my legs because they were done, but also two, got a good pump, my delts, my biceps, my forearms, getting some blood flow into that area. And as I spoke about yesterday, nucleus overload. The getting blood into an area can increase the sarcoplasmic size, the potential for hyperplasia, and then lastly, especially in the cardio form, in this is basically muscular endurance at this point, because it's very muscular. It's not just cardio. Blanking. You increase your capillary mass. So sorry, my brain's not quite working. You increase your capillary mass when you do cardio, especially high intensity cardio. So if I can increase my capillary mass in my arms and my shoulders and shit from the upper body high-intensity cardio, then more power to it. But I'm just mainly doing this because my legs are cooked and I need to keep getting my heart rate up, so I just decided to do upper body stuff. And this is a key component with high-intensity cardio, is you need to make sure that you are, in fact, going close to failure. Obviously, you can't fail on high-intensity cardio because you'll die. That would be cardiac arrest. So it's not like weight training where you can physically fail without fucking dying. But you have to get as close as your mental capacity will allow it, or your lungs will allow it, before you collapse, essentially. Because a lot of people will do what they think is high intensity cardio, but it's not really. So when you do high intensity cardio, make sure you're pushing yourself to your utmost. because if you're not, you will not reap the benefits from it. And the main benefits of high intensity cardio is that you can do it less frequency, but get the same benefits of, high frequency steady state cardio. But if you're not hitting max capacity on these high intensity cardio sessions, then there's no point. You're better off just doing steady state cardio. And it's hard to do, especially when you're used to doing steady state cardio. It's fucking daunting taking your cardio to its max. I mean, this is a new thing to me, and it's brutal because I'm so used to I'm not used to taking my cardio to max. Like, when was the last time that any of you guys listening did a 400-meter sprint where you just take yourself to the max capacity? And that's something I'm going to start doing too. I need to start going down to a field and just doing sprints for longer distances, because, I mean, it'll test your fucking gusto, dude. Sprinting 100 meters is one thing, but doing an all-out sprint until your legs are totally giving out and you have to sit down, that shit, that'll make you a man. So I need to start doing that myself, because these 20-meter sprints are pretty difficult, especially because they're starting with the acceleration point, because I've only got 20 meters in my backyard. But I get to stop, for a second or two between the sprint intervals. That you don't get to do that if you do 100, 200, 300 meters. So I'm going to start doing that. And hopefully I get to the point where my muscular endurance in my legs, my work capacity is high enough that I can simply just do sprinting for, say, 15, 20 minutes straight and not have to do all this other extra, high intensity cardio meme exercises like ball slams, battle ropes, etc. Because they're kind of boring. I don't really care about them because there's no real technical aspect to them. And that's kind of the thing. Like, anytime you can make something more fun, the more likely you are to do it. That's part of the fun. And by no means am I going to be good at sprinting. I mean, my genetics fucking suck in general for physical activities, strength and muscle size, etc. But especially for, high explosiveness, high type 2 density fiber activities like sprinting or jumping, I'm fucked with those things. Like, I'm Irish as fuck, so my body just doesn't want to do that. But in saying that, that just doesn't stop me from wanting to do it. I mean, it's the same with arm wrestling. I don't have good genetics for arm wrestling in any capacity. I have tiny hands. If anything, I'd be a better sprinter than a fucking arm wrestler. But it doesn't stop me from doing it because I like arm wrestling. And a lot of the times, the blessing of not being great at something or ever really being one of the greats is that you enjoy it more. A lot of the times, professionals don't enjoy the thing they're doing anywhere as much as the guy who just does it as a hobby, who's just, having like, if it's a team sport, for example, you're just playing rugby in Division 4 with your mates and you're just having a laugh and you're all in your 40s and you're just staying fit and having a good time, versus the dude who's been playing competitive rugby, running into giant brick wall of a man over and over and over again, getting injured, stressing about, whether or not he's going to stay on the team, stressing about making the livelihood, making every waking hour about that sport. Some people, can stay absolutely fully passionate and love that thing, and those are oftentimes the greatest of them all. But just because you're not going to be the greatest or even remotely good at something or competitive at something doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. Don't let your ego get in the way of enjoying something that you're not going to be very good at. And then sometimes, funnily enough, people will go into things thinking they're not going to be all that good, and then all of a sudden they find some niche angle and they become really fucking good, if not the best, or professional level. Like, that's really common in arm wrestling, where dudes would just find some angle where they're really good at. Because, I can't talk on other sports. I'm not a huge sport guy, but arm wrestling I'm very much into. People will have below subpar genetics, and all of a sudden they find something that just works so well for them, and they're fucking really good. In arm wrestling, there's a guy called Crazy George. He's a tiny little dude. He's like 5'5" or something. And he's an old man now. He's 70, and he's still competitive. And this is because he found this niche. He came up with the King's move, which if you follow arm wrestling, you know what that means. But basically, his elbow doesn't fully extend, which is, this problem he has from arm wrestling. And all of a sudden, he found this technique that allowed him, a 5'5", tiny little old man, to be a 70-year-old world champion to this day. Because he just found this little thing. He, by no means does he have genetics for arm wrestling. He's tiny, his hands are tiny, his genetics suck. But he found a niche and became one of the greats through that. And this is probably demonstrable in many sports I'm just not aware of. And you guys probably watch your sports that you love and probably know of athletes like this, where just through perseverance and not really expecting anything and just randomly find this thing and they become the greatest. So in saying that, like, again, with sports, or sprinting rather, I'm not going to find some fucking trick that allows me to become the next Usain Bolt. But within reason, there is absolutely, like, there are ways. I mean, in saying that, who knows, maybe I find some fucking, like, biohacking thing that allows me to sprint really fast. I mean, you never know, dude. But main point being is, if you enjoy doing something, who really gives a shit if you're really good at it or not? And by proxy of just being consistent and doing it for a long time, you'll be better than the average person. As genetically uninclined as I am to be good at sprinting, if for the next 15 years I consistently keep sprinting twice a week, I'll probably be faster than the average person for sure. But I might also be faster than the average, say, West African who's genetically inclined to sprint, and had they trained to be a sprinter, would probably crush me. But, on average, you'll be better than the average person, So that's kind of where I'm at with sprinting, is like, I'm enjoying it. I'm not pushing it too hard right now. I'm not thinking about being all technical and shit, because a lot of times when you get really good at something, you kind of get bored with it anyway. Perfect example for me is, I used to play competitive video games like Counter-Strike, Quake, Overwatch, shit like that. And, in some of them I got like to a semi-pro level. Never played professionally, never went to like tournaments or anything, but I was very good. And like Overwatch, I was like, top 50 numerous times in the ranking. If you don't know what that is, whatever. I was very good at them. But notably, I had so much more fun playing those games when they first came out, and I wasn't that good at them. And then all of a sudden, get good, get better. But and it's a very prevalent thing in video games. People often say, like, when they were when they sucked at the game and they're just playing with their mates and having a good time, they had way more fun than when they were all serious and, trying their darndest to win. So sometimes being naive and innocent is a lot more fun. That's why kids have more fun than adults, is they're innocent. They're new to everything. So with the sprinting, it might be something where I try not to overlook it too much at all, because that's kind of sometimes what happens with weights for me, is I'll try to look into it too deeply and try to analyze every single aspect, and it kind of gets boring, rather than being the 14-year-old me when I first started going to the gym. I have no fucking idea what I was doing, but I was just having a good time, and because of that, sometimes I was getting better gains just because I wasn't worrying so much. I mean, cortisol is one of the least, one of the most catabolic hormones there is. So you're always stressing about your training and not enjoying it. Like, it gets a bit, this is kind of esoteric, but like, if you're not enjoying something, you're probably less likely to manifest the results that you want than the person who's just kind of lackluster. Like, it's a well-known thing in life that, oftentimes things just come to people when they don't even want them. Like, you'll want something so heavily for years and years and years, whether it be a girlfriend or money or whatever, and then you kind of never get that thing, but then you stop caring about it, and all of a sudden, like, a cosmic force just allows it to land in your lap. So, sometimes it's better to just be lackluster, and maybe that's what I'll do with sprinting. I'm just gonna fuck it. This is why I like doing these videos. I get revelations through just talking, and this is one of them. I might not analyze my sprinting at all. I'm just gonna spend however long I want just sprinting, not thinking about it, just doing sprints, not timing them or loosely timing them. But I'm not gonna get all analytic like I do with everything else, and see how it goes. For all I know, that might reap far better benefits. It's great to be analytic for sure. It's great to track your progress in the gym and all that stuff. But sometimes I feel like I'm over analytical to the point where it's like, what's the saying? The saying is akin to just basically like paralysis by over-analysis or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? I'm mad rambling, but fuck it. These days, these cardio days, like, they're so long. All I can do is ramble. So hopefully it's coherent, entertaining rambling. Anyway, see you guys tomorrow. Piss and Vinegar tomorrow. If in like a few hours, see you again for my arm wrestling day.